Goa, India. I mean, when you hear that name, a certain picture just immediately pops into your head. Right?
Oh, absolutely. It's a brand. You're thinking trance parties on the beach. You're thinking cheap beer, maybe a couple of cows just wandering across the sand.
Totally. Like they own the place. And that's the perception we kind of all have. It's been around for decades.
And that's exactly what we're here to challenge today. We are going completely contrarian on this. We're not talking about that old party path, the package tour thing.
No.
We're doing a deep dive specifically on what I think you, the listener, are probably looking for today, which is beach sanctuary wildlife.
Right. That quiet escape. That art of slow living that the locals call Suzgad.
Exactly. Sousdad.
Okay, so let's unpack this idea of sanctuary, because I start with just an immediate essential warning based on everything we've looked at.
Yeah, this is important.
If you are chasing that vision of a tropical paradise, and you go and book a place in North Goa, and I'm talking that central strip, Kalangut, Vaga, Candolim, you're going to be so disappointed.
Miserable. You might even be miserable. The sources are crystal clear on this. Those main tourist zones are they've transformed. They're traffic-clogged, construction-heavy nightmares.
It's not the escape you have in your head.
Not at all. It's the opposite of that.
It sounds like the promise of Goa is kind of being eaten alive by its own popularity.
Yeah. But you have a counterclaim, right? A reason to still go.
I do, and that negativity, that's the necessary reality check you need up front. But here's my bold counterclaim. Goa is still one of the most spiritually grounding places in all of Asia.
Okay.
But, and this is huge, but you have to fight to find it. You have to be willing to completely bypass that initial mess, drive like 2 hours south, and consciously look for it. That's the only way you'll find the real Suzgad.
And that is our mission today. We're going to show you exactly how to win that fight, give you the logistics, the insider knowledge to make sure your trip is about sanctuary, not stress.
And we're starting with 3 big contrarian surprises, the kind of aha moments that just instantly reframe your whole plan. Yeah, these really blew my mind. Okay, surprise number 1. Goa is not really a beach destination.
Right. It sounds insane. We only talk about the coast Anjuna Palolem, but historically, culturally, Goa is a river destination that just happens to have sand.
Its whole economy and history were built around the Mandovi and Zwari rivers.
That's the key to understanding the whole landscape. It's why the jungle is so dense inland, why the old towns are set back from the coast. You have to look inland.
Okay, surprise number 2, and this is for anyone looking for that wildlife piece. The animals here are a bigger danger than the scams.
I mean, this is a fundamental mind shift. We're not just talking about, some guy trying to overcharge you for a taxi. The sources are clear. In the jungle fringes, you have cobras, you have leopards. They are there.
Wow. So it's less about protecting your wallet and more about respecting the environment and, well, protecting yourself.
It totally elevates the stakes.
And the third surprise, the one that hits the wallet, Goa is absolutely not a budget destination anymore.
Not even close. The sources are relentless on this. If you have those stories in your head of the $5 beach hut from the early 2000s, just erase them.
Gone.
Completely gone. The economy has been warped, and we're going to break down exactly what things cost now.
But before we get to the fixes, we have to acknowledge the one major downside that comes up everywhere. And it's kind of heartbreaking. It's the trash problem.
Yeah, the crowd. The crowds and the construction, that's one thing. But the plastic, the waste, it's a systemic issue, and it really does tarnish the magic of a place that is just so stunningly beautiful otherwise.
It's an infrastructure crisis, really.
It is, but we promise to deliver. We're going to give you the exact budget ranges for finding that sanctuary. We will show you how to beat the taxi mafia, and by the end, we'll give you a final honest verdict.
Yeah.
Is Goa still worth it for you?
All right, let's dive into segment 1. Context, the reality on the ground. Why has Goa changed so much, so fast? It all comes down to a huge, rapid demographic shift.
Yeah, and the pandemic just threw gasoline on that fire. I mean, historically, for decades, Goa's tourism was really predictable. You had 2 main groups.
Right, the British retirees, the charter tourists who'd come for the whole winter.
Exactly. And then you had the Israeli backpackers and other Western budget travelers making their way through Asia. It was a very stable, low to mid-price economy.
The new demographic has just warped that reality completely.
Completely. The sources point to this massive influx of remote workers. We're talking High-earning professionals from India's big tech cities, Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore,
And they're bringing their big city salaries with them.
and their big city expectations. They want faster internet, they want high-end cafes, imported food, and they are willing to pay way, way higher rents and prices for everything.
So that instantly drives up the cost of living for everyone.
And it changes the vibe. You add to that this huge influx of Russian long-stayers, people who are basically setting up semi-permanent homes in the north.
And the whole culture shifts. I love how one source put it. You used to go to Goa to disappear,
Right.
to just vanish.
Yeah, to practice use God.
Now, people go to Goa to be seen,
Mm-hmm.
to post about their digital nomad life. It's a performance.
Which brings us right to this core conflict, the curated lie versus the ground truth.
Yes, the Instagram lie. You
Mhm.
see these perfect shots of an infinity pool in Usago, with the perfect jungle backdrop, or these edited photos of empty, clean, white sand beaches.
And that curated lie just sets you up for failure because the ground truth, what you're actually going to deal with every day, is this fine red dust that gets on everything.
And everything, your bags, your clothes.
And you're navigating these dangerously narrow roads, you're in gridlock traffic, and you're seeing this constant visible battle between, the beautiful old Portuguese villas and just raw concrete development popping up everywhere.
It's a concrete war on preservation.
It is. And that's why if your trip focuses sanctuary and wildlife, it's such a challenge. The wildlife is actively retreating from the noise and the construction.
You can't find it on the coast anymore.
No chance. And to really hammer this point home, the sources have this perfect description of the developed north, specifically Kalangut and Baga. They're not charming beach towns anymore.
What are they?
They're malls with sand.
Wow. Malls with sand. That's vivid.
It's a perfect description. It's high-density commercial chaos that just happens to be next to the ocean.
So understanding the geography is not just a good idea, it's essential. This north-south divide is everything.
It dictates your entire trip. The north is high energy, high consumption. That's where you're going to hear the techno bass at 4 in the morning.
The south, though, that's where the silence lives.
That's where it lives.
Yeah.
You have to go south to find anything that even resembles sanctuary. The roads might be worse, the infrastructure is a bit patchier, but the trade-off is real, tangible, quiet. It's non-negotiable.
And we also need to totally reframe the wildlife expectation. Because when people hear India wildlife, their brain goes to one place.
Tigers, the Bengal tiger, maybe elephants.
Right. And the reality.
The reality is, while tigers do exist in the Sahyadri Ranges bordering Goa, you, the traveler, are not going to see one. It's incredibly rare. It's a multi-day trek with a ton of luck. Don't plan your trip around it.
So what should you be looking for?
You got to get more nuanced. Focus on the incredible bird life. The reptiles are fascinating, and you might see large mammals like the Indian bison, the gaur.
So it's not an African safari.
Not even close. This is a wet, dense, humid jungle experience. Viewing wildlife here takes patience, and frankly, it takes a guide.
But here's the value. Even without the tigers, the region is ecologically priceless. Goa is inside the Western Ghats, which is a globally recognized biodiversity hotspot.
It predates the Himalayas. I mean, the sheer density of life here is staggering.
So that's the mental shift. You have to change your goal from spotting big cats to immersing in a living forest.
Exactly. If you can do that, you unlock the real magic. The sounds, the smells, the constant hum of the jungle. It's a much deeper, more rewarding experience. It's magical, but you have to respect that you're in a living, breathing, and very wet environment.
Okay, let's get into the nitty-gritty. Segment 2. Arrival and your immediate impressions. Because getting to Goa isn't as simple as it used to be. You have a choice of airports now, and making the wrong one can just ruin your trip from the start.
Oh, it can kill your budget and your schedule instantly. So you're landing at either the old airport, Dabalim, which is GOI, or the brand new one, MOPA, GOX.
And for our listener, the one seeking sanctuary.
The advice is crucial. If you are heading south for that quiet vibe, you have to stick to Dabalim, GOI, period.
Why is that so important?
Dabalim is located pretty much in the middle of the state, so getting anywhere is relatively manageable. MOPA, on the other hand, yes, it's shiny and new, but it's in the far, far north of Goa.
Like almost in the next state over.
Practically. So if you land at MOPA and your hotel is down in, say, Palolem or Gonda in the south, you are looking at a brutal taxi ride.
How long?
3-4 hours, maybe longer with traffic. And that ride can easily cost you more than your flight did. We're talking 4,000 rupees, maybe more. It completely defeats the purpose. So Dabalim, only Dabalim for the south.
Okay, so you've landed at the right airport, The first 24 hours are still what you'd call a sensory assault.
For sure. It starts the second you walk out of the terminal. First, the humidity. It hits you like a wet towel. It's heavy. It's instant. You are sweating in minutes.
And then comes the conflict.
The immediate conflict. You walk outside and you are just swarmed, assaulted by the taxi union. This isn't just a line of cabs. It's an organized system that controls all the transport.
And this is so important to understand. Uber and Ola are basically banned in Goa. The local taxi unions have fought them tooth and nail to protect their monopoly on pricing.
So your very first impression of this tranquil place after a long flight is probably going to be a tense, aggressive argument about money.
Not a great start.
Not at all. But once you get through that and you're finally in the car, this is where the romance begins.
Ah, the drive.
The drive through the villages, the golden hour light is filtering through the palm trees. You start seeing those beautiful, crumbling Portuguese villas painted in pastel, yellow, and pale blue.
And the smell.
Yeah.
You have to talk about the smell.
The smell of Goa is so specific. It's this mix of burning leaves from the roadside and fish curry cooking somewhere and drying coconut and this wet, earthy smell from the red soil. That's when you know you've arrived somewhere unique.
It's at 450 years of Portuguese history. You see it in the architecture, the chapels. It feels different from the rest of India.
Absolutely. But that beauty is always kind of negotiating with danger, especially on the roads.
The roads are terrifying, let's be honest. They're dangerously narrow. They were not built for the amount of traffic they have now.
And the ultimate hazard is the cows.
The cows just sitting there in the middle of a blind corner.
Completely unbothered. They are sacred. Nobody can move them, and they will not move for you. Your driver has to be on high alert constantly.
And then there are the other tourists. You see them everywhere. Foreigners on scooters, no shirt, no helmet, weaving through traffic.
There are accidents waiting to happen. The risk of injury is genuinely high if you're not careful.
But if you've done your homework, you've gone south to Uganda or Palolem, you drop your bags, that initial stress just melts away.
It really does. You walk out to the water. The Arabian Sea is warm. It's a darker, churning blue. Not that Maldives turquoise, but it's powerful and beautiful.
And the backdrop is just coconut palms leaning over the sand, no high-rises.
And that's the moment of peace. You sit down at a beach shack, you order your first Kingfisher beer, and you watch that sunset. That moment, as one source put it, it just resets your nervous system.
That's why you came.
That's it. But
Yeah,
there's a reality check.
of course there is.
That peace is frequently interrupted by daily power cuts, so that magical sunset beer might turn into a mandatory candlelight dinner whether you planned it or not. It's just part of the charm.
All right, let's talk money. Segment 3, costs and value.
Yeah.
Because we've established Goa isn't cheap anymore, and we need to get into the why.
And the basic premise for this trip, for a sanctuary trip, is simple. Silence is the most expensive thing you can buy in modern India. That's it exactly. You are paying a premium to get away from the noise, the crowds, the traffic. This isn't a party budget, it's a sanctuary budget.
So we've broken it down into 3 bands, using daily US dollar estimates to give you a clear idea of what you're paying for. Let's start with the backpacker budget band.
Okay, this is the gritty experience. For accommodation, you're looking at maybe a simple hostel or a very basic fan-only garden hut, a little back from the beach, $10 to $20 a night.
And you will be hot. That mosquito net is not optional.
Not at all. For food, you're living on local phallus. That's the traditional platter of rice, bread, curries. Still incredibly cheap. $2 or $3 a meal.
Transport is a rented scooter, maybe an older one, $4 to $6 a day. And your activities are basically free hiking, hanging out on the beach.
Right. So your daily total for this very authentic but very gritty and no AC experience is going to be around $25 to $35 a day. It's doable, but you're constantly battling the elements.
Okay, next up, the mid-range sanctuary seeker. This is our listener. This is the sweet spot.
This is the sweet spot. For accommodation, you're now getting an AC cottage, maybe second row from the beach, or a beautiful boutique guest house. $50 to $90 a night. You're paying for the air conditioning and peace of mind.
And food shifts to the beach shacks. That whole grilled fish you've been dreaming of.
Exactly. A whole snapper or kingfish will run you $10 to $15. Cocktails are about $5. And you can afford to invest in activities.
Like that guided nature walk you said was so essential.
That's the one. $20 for a guide, maybe a dolphin-watching boat trip. So your daily total here is $80 to $120 a day. This is the band that buys you comfort, peace, and the guidance to actually enjoy the sanctuary you came for.
All right, finally, the luxury high-end.
This is all about exclusivity. We're talking the Taj Exotica, the Leela, private villas in Asago. You're starting at $300 a night, and it goes way up from there.
And what's interesting is how wildlife becomes a luxury product here.
Totally. A dedicated eco-lodge, like Wilderness, right inside the sanctuary area, can run you $150 to $200 a night. But that price includes your meals, your trekking, and a dedicated naturalist. It maximizes your chances of seeing something amazing.
At this level, your daily total is easily $500 plus a day.
Easy.
Okay, we have to talk about the hidden costs, the hidden view tax, and the insane beach shack inflation.
Yeah, this is a huge deal. The prices in the beach shacks have basically doubled in the last 3 years. The easiest example is beer. A Kingfisher used to be about 80 rupees, so $1. Now, in any popular shack, it's 250 rupees, $3. That's a 200% increase.
And that's because you're paying a massive premium to have your feet in the sand with that sunset view.
Exactly. But here's the fix. This is the crucial money-saving tip. If you just walk 100 meters inland to the little family-run places on the main road where locals eat,
The prices plummet.
by 40%, immediately. More authentic food for way less money. It's a no-brainer.
What about investing in the wildlife part of the trip?
So the entry fees to the sanctuaries themselves are nominal, like $2. Access is cheap.
But the value is low.
The value is zero if you go alone. You'll just, as one source put it, stare at a wall of trees for 4 hours. You won't know what you're looking at.
So the required investment is the guide.
It's hiring a local naturalist for a morning. It'll cost you maybe $30 to $50. It sounds expensive, but it transforms a frustrating walk into a real experience where you actually see the biodiversity. It's money well spent.
So the final value verdict.
Goa is no longer cheap compared to places like Vietnam or Thailand. It's firmly in the moderate category now. You get good value on accommodation in the mid-range, terrible value on transport, and decent value on food if you use that 100-meter rule.
All right, this is where we give you the intel to maintain that Susgad vibe. Segment 4, logistics and planning traps. Because this is where people lose their cool, their money, and their peace.
Oh, instantly. The vibe dies the second you're arguing with a taxi driver on the side of a dusty road.
So let's start with the big one. Trap number 1, the taxi mafia and the constant negotiation battle.
We've mentioned this, but it's the biggest daily hassle. Uber and Ola are banned, so the local union has total control. And they will quote you insane prices. 3,000 rupees for a trip that should be 800.
So what's the fix? How do you fight back?
It's a two-part strategy. First, you download the government-backed app called Go Miles.
Okay.
Now, it works inconsistently. Sometimes you'll get a driver, sometimes you won't. But even if it fails, it gives you the official fair price for that route.
So you use that as your baseline for negotiation.
Exactly. That becomes your non-negotiable price when you talk to the street taxis. And never, ever get in a car without agreeing on the price first. As a backup, pre-book long trips through your hotel.
Smart. Okay, trap number 2, the scooter police checkpoint scam.
This is so common. They set up checkpoints near tourist spots or the main bridges, and their target is always the same: tourists on rented scooters.
So what's the fix here? What do you need to have?
Legally, you need an international driving permit, an IDP, with a specific motorcycle endorsement. Your standard US or UK license is not enough, even if the rental guy says it is.
And they will say it is.
They will. So if you get stopped, first, always wear a helmet. Be calm, be polite. They will probably find some reason to fine you, and that fine is going to be a demand for cash on the spot.
It's a bribe.
It's a bribe, 500 to 1,000 rupees. And honestly, the advice is to just view it as a convenience fee if you don't have the right paperwork. It's better than getting your scooter impounded.
Right. Okay, trap number 3. This one's for our wildlife seekers. Incorrect sanctuary timing.
This is a mission killer. If you go to a wildlife sanctuary in the middle of the day, from say 10 a.m. to 3 p.m.
It's too hot.
It's way too hot. The animals are all sleeping. You'll just have a hot, sweaty, disappointing walk through a silent forest.
So the fix is an early start.
A very early start. You have to be up at 5:30 a.m. You need to be at the gates of Kodigao or Mullam right at sunrise before 6:30. That's when the jungle is active, when you see the birds, the deer, the bison.
And seasonal timing is crucial too.
Absolutely. Avoid it's unbearably hot.
Right.
And avoid the peak monsoon from June to August because the sanctuaries might be closed due to landslides.
Let's talk about connectivity and cash. Getting a local SIM card sounds like a nightmare.
It's a bureaucratic mess. Passport photos, visa copies, waiting for it to be activated. Just skip it.
So what's the fix?
Get an eSIM before you land. Use a service like Airilo. You have data the second you touch down. But And this is critical download offline maps. Google Maps, maps.me. Cell service in the deep south and the jungle is terrible.
And cash.
The ATMs in the remote areas run out of money on the weekends, all the time. So carry stacks of 500 rupee notes. Get your cash in the bigger towns or at the airport.
Last one, packing. The humidity is a killer.
It is. Forget cotton. It will never, ever dry. You need quick-dry synthetic clothing. And for insect protection, you need the real deal.
Chemical DEET.
Chemical DEET. Not the natural citronella stuff. There is a real risk of dengue in the jungle areas. You have to take it seriously, especially around dawn and dusk. Okay, let's move into segment 5. Safety and wildlife hazards. Because we need to balance the annoying scams with the actual physical dangers.
Let's start with personal safety, especially for women travelers.
Generally speaking, the sources all agree that Goa is much safer than, say, North India, Delhi, Rajasthan. The local Goan culture is more laid back and respectful of tourists.
But the risk factor is tied directly to that north-south divide again.
It is.
Yeah.
The huge influx of domestic male tourists who come specifically to party in North Goa in Baga and Kalangut, it creates a different, sometimes intimidating atmosphere.
We're talking drunk groups, staring, harassment on the beaches at night.
Exactly. It's a direct result of that high-energy, high-consumption zone.
Yeah.
So the fix, once again, is geographic. Stay south.
Halomam, Aganda, Patnam.
Yeah, the vibe there is just completely different. It's families, it's couples, it's solo travelers looking for quiet. It feels safe to walk around at night.
What about the common scams? Aside from the taxi issue.
They're mostly minor nuisances. You'll see ear cleaners on the beach and gemstone sellers. The advice is just walk away. Don't engage. Firmly say no and keep moving.
Okay, but the health risk that affects everyone, go belly.
It's real. And it's almost always from the water or ice.
And this isn't about having a weak stomach. This is about infrastructure.
It is. The rule has to be absolute. You only drink sealed bottled water. And you only brush your teeth with bottled water. Do not even rinse your mouth with tap water. It's not worth the risk.
Now, ocean safety. This is a life and death thing people ignore.
They do. The Arabian Sea is not a gentle swimming pool. It has powerful rip currents, especially near the river mouths.
And tourists drown every year.
Every single year. Usually because they're swimming drunk or they ignore the red flags. The lifeguards' whistles are not a suggestion. If they tell you to get out of the water, you get out immediately.
Okay, let's talk about the real wildlife hazards. The stuff you can encounter right outside your hut.
First, stray dogs. They are everywhere. Most are friendly, but at night, packs on the beach can get territorial and aggressive.
The advice is not to feed them, right?
Right, because if you do, they sort of adopt you. And then they'll get into fights with other dogs to protect you, which just escalates the whole situation.
And the most serious warning for anyone staying near the jungle?
Snakes. Cobras and kraits are common, they're native, and they are incredibly dangerous.
So what are the precautions?
2 strict rules. 1, always shake out your shoes before you put them on, every single time. A snake or a scorpion might be sheltering inside.
And 2.
Never walk in high grass or on unlit paths at night without a powerful flashlight. It's a simple thing that can literally save your life. This is a truly wild place, and you have to respect that.
All right, let's pivot to the experience itself. We've talked about the hassles, the costs, the risks. The big question is, was the reward worth all that effort?
Well, before we get to the best moments, we have to address the biggest disappointment that came up in every single source, because it really hits that sanctuary mission hard. And that's the trash problem.
Yeah, we called it heartbreaking at the start. Let's get into why it's so bad.
It's really just a case of infrastructure being completely overwhelmed. The number of tourists and residents has exploded, but the waste management systems haven't kept up. So you have overflowing landfills, illegal dumping on the roadsides.
And all that plastic washing up on the beaches.
Exactly. And it just creates this constant jarring tension. You can be in the most beautiful, secluded cove and you'll find a pile of plastic bottles and wrappers. It shatters that illusion of a pristine paradise.
The psychological impact of seeing that is huge.
It is, and my personal big disappointment was directly related to that. It was visiting Dusagar Falls.
Which are supposed to be incredible.
The falls themselves are majestic, a huge, powerful cascade, but the experience of getting there and being there was just awful.
Tourist conveyor belt.
A total conveyor belt. The Jeep safari to get there is chaotic and rushed. They make you wear these gross, mildewy life jackets, and you get exactly 15 minutes at the falls. And when you look closely, you see plastic bottles wedged in the rocks. It felt like a rundown amusement park ride, not a natural wonder.
Wow. My big disappointment was a lesson in just how fast the development is happening. I booked what was advertised as a luxury villa in the south. The photos online were perfect.
And the reality.
The reality was it was right next to a massive construction site, jackhammers from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. It was not in the pictures.
The construction view, it's a real and growing problem in Goa.
Yeah. So the essential advice from my mistake is use Google Maps satellite view before you book anything. Zoom in. Look for those big dirt patches next to your property. Those are future construction sites, and they will ruin your sanctuary.
A crucial tip. Okay, but let's talk about the successes, the moments that made it all worth it. What was your best moment?
Mine was all about logistics and food, finding something really authentic. I found this tiny little local bakery in a village called Lutlim in the old Portuguese part of Goa.
Ah, away from the coast.
Way away. I bought fresh poi, which is this incredible Goan bread, and some Goan chorizo sausages straight from the smoker. The whole thing cost maybe 50 cents. And I just sat on this old Portuguese bridge, eating this perfect, simple meal, watching the river flow by. Total peace. True Suscad.
That sounds amazing. My best moment was pure wildlife magic. I was in Palolem, and I followed our own advice. I rented a kayak at 6 a.m. The water was like glass.
Perfect timing.
It was everything. I paddled out around this little island, totally alone, and then right in front of me, the water broke. It was a pod of 6 humpback dolphins.
Oh, way.
Just gliding by my kayak. No tour boat engine noise, no other people, just me and them in the sunrise. That feeling of quiet connection, that was the sanctuary I was fighting for. It's still there. You just have to work for it.
Okay, so if all the hassles, the traffic, the trash, the inflation, if that makes Goa feel like too much work, the sources do offer some great alternatives.
Yeah. Alternative number 1 is Gokarna in the next state, Karnataka. It's literally the next town south of Goa's border. And everyone says this is what Goa was like 20 years ago.
The pros are cleaner beaches, it's more spiritual, and it's much cheaper. The cons are no real alcohol scene, and the accommodation is very basic.
Right. Alternative number 2 is the Andaman Islands. This is for if your absolute number 1 priority is pristine beaches and diving.
The pros: turquoise water, untouched jungle. The cons: it's a pain to get to, there's basically no internet, and it costs about 30% more than Goa. It's truly remote.
And our final advice, if you are going to Goa, do the combo itinerary. Don't try to do beach and wildlife from the same place.
Split the trip. 3 days in the deep south of Gonda, Patnam for the beach and the sunsets. Then move inland for 3 days to an eco-lodge in the Chorla Ghats for the real immersive jungle experience.
Okay, let's bring it all home. Segment 7, the final verdicts. We've built our deep dive matrix to give you a clear answer on whether modern Goa is right for you based on your travel style.
Let's start with the backpacker. What's the verdict?
The verdict is yes, conditionally, a big condition. You have to avoid Baga and Kalangut like the plague. Yeah. Go to Anjuna or Arambol for the classic vibes, or honestly, just skip down to Gokarna. Goa is getting too expensive for the true hardcore budget traveler.
Okay, what about the mid-range couple or solo sanctuary seeker?
This is the bullseye. And yes, this is who modern Goa is perfect for. You have the budget for a comfortable AC room, a decent scooter, you can stay in a beautiful heritage villa in the south, and you can afford that crucial nature guide. It's the perfect mix of adventure, romance, and comfort.
Next up, the family trip.
The verdict here is yes, but stay in a resort. Don't try to wing it with kids. The logistics are too stressful. Book a proper resort with a pool in South Goa Varka, Kavalasam, where the beaches are flat and safe. You're paying a premium for the stress to be removed.
And finally, the luxury traveler.
For them, it's yes if you go niche. You can't just book a big 5-star hotel and expect peace. You have to use your money to buy exclusion. We're talking private yacht charters, renting fully staffed private mansions. Money can buy sanctuary in Goa, but only in these very exclusive gated settings.
So the overall score for our mission: beach, sanctuary, wildlife.
Okay, my score, focusing purely on the experience and the magic, is an 8.5 out of 10, but it comes with a massive condition.
Which is?
You have to wake up for sunrise, the soul of Goa, the quiet, the magic. It all happens between 6 a.m. and 9 a.m. If you sleep in, you miss it. You're just left with the traffic and the crowds.
That's a great point. My score, focusing on the logistics and the value for money, is a bit lower. I'd say a 7.5 out of 10. The sanctuary is there, but it's struggling against the development and the trash. And the wildlife part requires too much specific effort and spending to be a guarantee. The reward is huge, but the effort is steep.
And for timing, best weather but highest prices are November to February.
The best value is the shoulder season, so October or March, great weather, fewer crowds,
And the times to absolutely avoid are May for the insane heat and June through August for the heavy monsoon. Hashtag tag outro.
So our final takeaway for you, the listener, is to remember what we said at the start. Susagad is not something you can buy. It's not an amenity on a booking website.
No, it's a pace. It's a mindset you have to consciously adopt.
You have to slow down. You have to leave room in your schedule for the unexpected, for the power to go out, for a random conversation.
If your schedule is too packed, you'll just get frustrated and you'll miss the whole point.
And that leads us to our final provocative thought for you to take with you. Looking at this whole struggle between the old Goa and the new Goa, the question we're left with is this. Can Susgat Gad, this deep philosophy of slow living, actually survive the influx of high-speed, high-consumption tourism?
Or is it the very act of so many people fighting to find it now destroying the thing itself?
A tough question. But on a more practical note, a final reminder. Please, before you get on the plane, download those offline maps.
And pack the DET. Watch your wallet, watch your step.
Safe travels. We really hope you find your sanctuary in the South.